Welcome back to Oso's World, and today we're gonna do fry bread. So we're gonna start out with 6 cups of flour. So I got this already put out, so I didn't have to go through 6 cups of flour for you. So with our dry mix, we got half a tablespoon of salt, tablespoon of sugar. So this is the packet of yeast I'm using today. So this has a tablespoon of yeast inside of it. So I'm just using one package, and then a tablespoon of baking powder. So for our wet ingredients, we have 1.5 cups of warm water. Got to make sure it's warm, and 1/2 cup of milk. All right. So first off, we're going to take our dry ingredients and add to it. So the tablespoon of baking powder. We got the yeast, 1 package of yeast. 1/2 tablespoon of salt, and a tablespoon of sugar. So you can add as much, sugar. If you want it more salty, you can add more salt to it if you like. I'm not a big salt fan, so add a little bit more sugar, but you're not going to be able to taste the sugar. I mean, it'll give a little hint of sweet flavor, but it ain't going to be super sweet. So you take something, you can use your hands, use whatever you like. I like to use a whisker to be able to get through it all. Make sure it goes through the whole bowl of flour. But you can do it any way you like. So just make sure to mix it in really good. Get all those dry ingredients mixed together, so you don't get clumps of salt or sugar or anything in just one spot. Well, we are going to mix it more anyway, so. Alright, now that's done. You're going to add 1/2 cup of milk. Don't matter, 2%, whatever you got. Now we're going to add the water. So 1.5 cup of water. Just add it, and then you want to start mixing as you add. Alright, you see that? Alright, pour the rest in. You're going to want to use both of your hands. So you're going to work all the water and the milk into your mixture. Alright. So it looks like I didn't add enough water. So one moment. And now we're back. So last time I used 2 cups of water and I used 1/2 cup of milk. It didn't work out so well. It was, a little bit too much water. So I did 1.5 this time of warm water and 1/2 cup of milk. So that obviously didn't work. So we're going to try this again. So I got another 1/2 cup of water to put into my mix. So hopefully this does the job. Oh yeah, a lot better. So we're going to mix it up. So you're going to want to get it and knead it into a ball before we let it sit and dry, or let it rise. So yeah, so it looks like the 2 cups made it just a little bit better. The consistency I actually wanted. So you're going to want to knead it up into a nice little ball like that until it stops sticking to your hands. You see that? See, that's a nice little ball. And you're just going to want to knead it with your fist or your palm, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Knead it up. Make sure everything. You see how I did there? See how I flattened it out? So now we're going to take our dough, we're going to cover it for about an hour, and then we'll start making some fry bread. Alright, thank you. For this last part here, finally got our dough about an hour. It's been sitting in the fridge. So now we're just going to take off the wrapping. Alright, you see how the dough is risen just a little bit? That's what we want. See, it's puffed up. You see how it came off from the sides there? Alright. So now, what you're going to need, you're going to be at about 375 for your grease. You're going to take this lid off. Back here. So you need a pair of tongs or, whatever you got. If you got, a fork, so that's all you got, then just use that. But I got some tongs. Then we got a pan here with some napkins covering it up for the grease. So you want to check your grease. Make sure it's hot enough. See how it's bubbling in the stick there? That's what we want. Alright. So now to start cooking. So you want a little bit of flour on the side here to dust your hands with. So when you do pull out your dough. Alright. So when you do your dough, you're going to want about a baseball size. About this here. See that? So when you do, you want to press it out. And just go clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever you feel, the best way to do it. However you feel comfortable. And you want to spread it out as much as you can, because it is going to puff up once we start cooking it. So you want to try to get it as flat as you can. As flat as you want it to be. If you want it big, then go ahead and make it big. But for this video, I'm actually going to make it about a pretty good size. So you're always going to want to pop this hole just so it doesn't bubble on you. So if you don't pop the hole there, it's going to start bubbling. And it's no good. So there we go. Our first piece of fry bread. Drop it in. See that how it's bubbling? Boom. There's one piece. So we'll let that cook. So it's going to take a little bit for it to cook. So while we're sitting there waiting for it to cook, I'll demonstrate another one. So you want to do exactly what I said the first time. Clockwise, counterclockwise. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Spread it out. Make sure there's no, big spot or spots that have more dough than the other side. You want to keep it consistent. Alright. So make sure to pop your hole. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really have to be in the center if you don't want it to be. It's just really good to remember to pop that hole in the middle of the fry bread. There we go. Lay out another one. And like I said before, about a baseball size or so. I guess, just big enough in your hand, fit in your hand. It's really not a baseball, but so you just look at that. About that big. So you roll it in a ball and, like I said before, flatten it out. Make sure it's consistent all the way through. You don't have to be perfect, but alright. Pop that hole. Just like that. Make sure the hole's a little wider. And drop it in. Alright, so we're going to check on my first one that we just put in. So I'm going to grab my tongs. You see that? Perfect golden brown right there. So you want to flip it. And there we go. You got yourself fry bread. So they usually cook, I don't know, for about, 5 minutes on each side, give or take. Depending on how cooked you liked it to be, or, you know what I mean. But yeah, so we're going to let it sit there and cook a little bit. And it don't matter, you keep on checking, make sure, it's where you want it to be. So that one's not fully cooked yet, so we're going to leave that sitting there. Alright. We'll let these guys cook. Alright. So now that we have it cooked, you see that? Beautiful. See how it's risen? It's puffy right there? That's the way you want your fried bread. So we're going to just set that there for now. Depending on how well you like it cooked. If you like it cooked dark brown or golden brown, just like that, then, you know, it's up to you really. So we're gonna come check this first fry bread that's done. Still a little hot, so bear with me. So you see that? Look at that. Perfect, not doughy, fluffy, golden brown, just the way you want it. Beautiful. So next we're going to show you what you can do with it and what you would want, or what you can do with it. So out of all that, we got 9 here and 3 more in the oil. And I actually already ate 2, so technically we made about 15 of them all together out of that 6 cups of flour. So that's about what you're going to get out of it. Depending on how big you make them and how small you make them, obviously you're going to get more if you make them small, or less if you make them bigger. But these are about the size you want to get them. Beautiful. Look at that.